But there's also a lot of things that have to go your way and a lot of things that have to go in your favor to win a championship. There are a lot of stuff that has to happen. You're going to see whoever wins the title on Sunday night, whether it's OKC or Indiana, you can go back to moments during the course of the playoffs that had that moment not happened by a fraction of an inch, the outcome's completely different. That's the playoffs in every single sport. You could go, say for example, Indiana wins the title. Say the Pacers win the title. They go on the road, Game 7, Sunday night. They win the title. They beat the Thunder. You're going to go back to the Tyrese Halliburton shot against what? Milwaukee? You want to go back to the one against the Knicks? You go back to that shot. You go back to the Game 1 against OKC. And all of a sudden, if that goes the other way, we're talking a fraction of an inch. We're talking Tyrese Halliburton hit that shot against the Knicks, bounces up in the air and rattles out still. Like we're talking a quarter of an inch goes in the other direction, and it's a completely different discussion. Maybe Indiana doesn't win that series. Like there's all sorts of stuff that has to happen in life in general, just the right way at the right time for you to end up where you are. It could, like somebody you meet, a job you had, just think about everything that happened just in that day, let alone your life, to put you in position for that moment. And because you went right instead of left, because you went straight instead of back, because you went this way instead of that way, because you talked to one person for 5 minutes instead of 6 minutes, all sorts of stuff happens. And it's weird that when it comes to sports, especially in the NBA, all that we do is base everything on the end result. We don't talk about all the stuff that it took to get to that result. It's all the counting. It's all the end result. Oh, well, the end result is, how many rings do you have? Like, really? Like that's what, here's something that maybe some people should try on from time to time. What does your eye tell you? What is your eye test? All right, they do this when they're voting for who should be ranked higher in college football or college basketball. What is your eye test? Here's what my eye test tells me. I know who I watch and who I've seen that I consider to be the greatest of all time. All right, I don't need to necessarily look at rings. I don't need to look. Jordan is a bit of an outlier in the sense that Jordan does have more rings than LeBron. But you can make an argument if you'd like.
Stowers cracks that one out to center and deep. Siri is back. He looks up and it's gone. The Marlins waste no time. Kyle Stowers with a 2-run shot, and they take a 2-0 lead in the first.
Miami Marlins baseball is on deck.
2-1. That kicks away from Rodriguez. Hill breaks for the plate. There will be no throw. And on a wild pitch, the Marlins walk it off again. 1-2. Conine lifts out to left field. Tommy Pham working back to the warning track. So is Sawinski. They look up and it's gone. Griffin Conine to left center. And we're tied at 2 in the 7th.
Marlins on deck. Brought to you by ADT, the official smart security partner of the Miami Marlins and Norwegian Cruise Line. Experience more at sea. Let's head out to the ballpark. Here's your host, Steven Strong.
All right, nice job, Johnny. Welcome. We're live from Lone Depot Park in Miami on an 89-degree late afternoon. Roof and the walls are slammed and shut. City Connect Saturday, and the boys are swagged out. You're listening to Miami Marlins baseball on the radio, Fox Sports 940 Miami. Game 75 of 162, and today at the ballpark, it's Flanagan's Fest 2025, another jam-packed event that is one of the best days on the baseball calendar. A lot of green shirts, a lot of great food, and a lot of fire vibes after the Marlins took care of the Braves in Game 1 last night, 6-2. We're pumped to bring you Game 2 of a 3-game set between the 34-40 Atlanta Braves and your 30-44 Miami Marlins. It's the future of the franchise. He makes his first start at home this season. Yuri Perez, 22-year-old right-hander who takes the ball for the 3rd time this season. And fresh off of 15 punch-outs, Grant Holmes, 29-year-old right-hander, will make his 15th start of the season for Brian Snitker's Atlanta Braves. We get going at 4:10 right here on the Marlins Radio Network. Well, happy Saturday. Thanks for hanging out with us on this beautiful Saturday afternoon in Miami with Jack McMullen and former Marlins All-Star closer AJ Ramos. I'm Steven Strom. Let's get you the lineup for the show today. I fear we're going the distance. It's a Power Pack broadcast, and we thank you for your participation. We'll first hear from Kyle Stowers on the win last night. Ben Ingram, one of the radio voices of the Atlanta Braves, joins Jack McMullen to preview Game 2. We'll get you out of the count with Perez and Holmes. Jack and AJ will jump in for some storyline discussion. Our Expo question of today at Marlins Radio, and Steve's guarantee to victory. Another complete win for the Marlins last night. They upend the Braves 6-2. Kyle Stowers collected his first multi-hit game yesterday since May 14th. A lot of great defense. Here was Kyle after what was an impressive overall team win.
Yeah, I thought, early on, scoring at first is always a huge thing in this game. And then obviously the 3-run homer from Gus there. And then, I feel like when you have a lead, and they, whether they score a couple, if you can answer back again, kind of just like you said, keeps your foot on the gas and, shows that we're still in that game offensively and not just, coasting.
You guys face a unique arm that started in high A, went to double A, went to triple A, and debuted tonight at 20 with not a ton of footage on him. What was the preparation like tonight?
Yeah, I think, you're trying to find similarities. There's characteristics that guys have that can, that you can pick up with the metrics. The data is just so, widespread across all of baseball. So you're able to find stuff to put together a game plan, and, that's what we were able to do.
Defensively, I need you to rank them. We're doing the Sports Center top 3 Marlins plays. Otto, yours, and Dane Myers. I know he didn't catch it, but he brought it back.
I'm going to go Otto's number 1. That was really good. I'm going to go Dane's number 2 because it saved a run. It was huge. He almost had it, but keep that ball in the ballpark. He didn't end up scoring, so that was really big, and I'll go mine 3rd.
Very good. Thanks for the time, Kyle.
Thank you.
All right, so that was Kyle Stowers last night, and again, a 6-2 victory over the Atlanta Braves. Stowers with 2 hits, and it was interesting when Clayton McCullough spoke to me yesterday afternoon. He talked about the 2 keys. No walks, which the Marlins did against the Atlanta Braves, and clean defense. We got sensational defense yesterday. Otto Lopez on Michael Harris, a speedy Michael Harris. That was not an easy play to begin with. To do it against the speedster and Harris was quite impressive. Dane Myers didn't rob a home run, or I guess he technically did. He took a home run away from Marcell Ozuna, kept him in the yard, and then Kyle Stowers made a pretty good catch out in left field. So all in all, a complete victory. Offensively, kept their foot on the gas, and defensively took away some outs of an Atlanta Braves team that came into Friday night swinging the bat very, very effectively. We will break here. Coming up next, Ben Ingram, the radio voice of the Atlanta Braves, joins Jack McMullen. We'll talk Grant Holmes, Yuri Perez, and Augustin Ramirez, who hit another home run for the Marlins. Marlins on Deck continues on the Marlins Radio Network.
I would say that was 98.
Augustin Ramirez hammers a ball, left field, and gone. 3-run bomb. Augustin Ramirez, his 11th home run of the season. And the Marlins blow it open 4-0 in the bottom of the 3rd.
Type of pitches go a long way.
First pitch here to Michael Harris is hit on the ground to the dive of the shortstop Lopez. He rolls a ground ball over to first, and that gets Harris. Great play by Otto.
Way up, he threw that from his right knee and was able to get it over to first with enough steam.
Now another great defensive shortstop, Nick Allen, lifts one out to left field. That is falling quickly. Stowers dives, and he makes the catch. 1-1. That one flicked down the left field line. That is in for a base hit, and that's rolling all the way to the wall. Stowers jogs in from second. Myers sprints in from first, and Eric Wagaman with a 2-run pinch hit double. Verdugo in left field is throwing both his hands up right now.
For him.
1-2. Otto on the move. That a hard ground ball that eats up Albies and dribbles into center field. A run comes in to score. Lopez goes first to third. Augustin ripped a ball on the ground, and he might have himself a 4 RBI day.
Kyle, how did you see your team keep their foot on the gas the entire night tonight?
Yeah, I thought, early on, scoring at first is always a huge thing in this game. And then obviously the 3-run homer from Gus there. And then, I feel like when you have a lead, and they, whether they score a couple, if you can answer back again, kind of just like you said, keeps your foot on the gas and, shows that we're still in that game offensive.
or call 800-750-0647 today. For license information, visit adt.com.
For Marlins on the go, download the iHeartRadio app and make Fox Sports 940 your top preset to listen to every Marlins game this season. Wonderful win yesterday over the Atlanta Braves 6-2 to take game one of this three-game weekend set. It'll be Yuri Perez who will go opposite Grant Holmes. I'm Steven Strom, host of the program, Marlins on Deck, Fox Sports 940 Miami. Johnny back in the studio hitting the ones and twos. AJ Ramos and Jack McMullen have your call, but you will hear Jack McMullen in just a matter of moments. Jack and Ben Ingram, the radio voice of the Atlanta Braves, caught up this afternoon ahead of Game 2, talking some storylines. Augustine Ramirez, Yuri Perez, and Grant Holmes.
Thank you very much, Stephen, here with the radio voice of the Atlanta Braves, Ben Ingram. It was a good win for us last night. Are you sick of Augustine Ramirez yet, or what?
He was impressive, wasn't he? I think in this series, watching him and then watching Drake Baldwin for us, I mean, two really good young catchers, so that's pretty exciting for both fan bases.
I could give you the pitch on Augustine winning National League Rookie of the Year. I mean, this guy is hitting the living crap out of the ball, it seems like. But Baldwin, you're watching him day in and day out. What makes that guy so special?
I think behind the plate more than anything. I mean, we're watching him catch Chris Sale. I mean, imagine that. Think about that kind of trust. It's fun to talk to the pitchers, and it's fun to talk to the coaches about what they're seeing. Because of all the positions on the field, it's hard to break into this game at 23, 24 years old, but especially at that position, such a demanding position. Veteran pitchers, they have things their way, and they want things a certain way, and Drake's come in and done such a great job. So he's 24 years old, and he approaches the game like he's 34 years old, which is great for your catcher.
Him working with Sean Murphy in tandem is fascinating because Murphy is an all-star, and he was paid like an all-star as well. What does that timeshare look like behind the dish for Atlanta?
Well, I think it's continuing to evolve, to be quite honest. I think once Drake came in, you're thinking, okay, Sean Murphy's the guy. Maybe he catches 4 or 5 days a week. It's been a little bit more split up now. I wouldn't say it's quite 50-50, but it's pretty close, and especially when it comes to matchups. So they trust Drake a ton. He's done a great job. His bat has been there. And I think the time split with Murphy is very similar to what we saw when Travis d'Arnaud was here. It's a very similar split, and that's good for Drake.
Ben, we just saw a 20-year-old make his Major League debut yesterday on Didier Fuentes. The fastball is obviously real. How does this front office and how does this coaching staff in Atlanta view a guy like Fuentes who is a rocket ship through the minor leagues?
Yeah, I think it's similar to you and I had a conversation yesterday about A.J. Smith-Shawver. I think he's kind of the next wave of that guy. A really good arm, big arm, and a guy that you know could be good for a long time. We got to see him break in last night. That was really cool. I didn't even see him at spring training. He was in the spring breakout game. He wasn't even on the Major League side for camp. But to see somebody who's 20 and make those kinds of strides, I think what he learned last night will be huge for him. I think he'll take that into his next start, wherever that may be, and really understand and have a really good grasp of what it really takes. His fastball is good, but you got to have a really good mix. I mean, guys up here know how to crush a fastball. It's a generation of hitters that grew up learning to hit a fastball. So that's something he's going to have to mix in. But I think it was a really good learning situation for him last night and certainly boosted his baseball IQ last night.
As of last night, Didier Fuentes, the youngest pitcher in Major League Baseball. That takes the title from our guy that we're seeing tonight, Yuri Perez. From an outside perspective, what do you see when you watch Yuri Perez pitch?
The next big thing for the Marlins. I think for Miami, in years past, and this has been the case for many years, you might run into a team who has some ups and downs offensively, but they've always had really good young pitching, and he's kind of the next wave of that. And you can see that pretty easily, and you see him as such a young guy with so many tools, and he comes along and you know he's going to be really good. So he's surrounded by other good pitchers. That's going to help him a ton. I think the staff that you have is going to help him a lot as well. And at this point, it's just about repetitions, being out there and being healthy.
Ben Ingram, last one for you. We're not expecting 15 punch-outs from Grant Holmes today. He did that against Colorado. What have you seen from Holmes at his maturation this year as a starting pitcher?
Slider curveball. I mean, the fastball is good, but his swing and miss stuff, slider curve. If he runs across a lineup that really has a hard time with discipline going after that pitch, he's going to rack up strikeouts. We saw that last go-round versus the Rockies, as you mentioned. They could not adjust to his slider. He kept going there. They kept swinging. When he gets in trouble, it's walks and homers, and usually consecutively, which is a really bad combination for pitchers. So that's something to watch. But if he's getting ahead, he can put batters away pretty easily with that slider and his curveball.
If you didn't know, Ben Ingram's voice sounds like Atlanta Braves baseball. Thank you very much for taking the time.
You got it, Jack. Thank you.
Steven.
I agree with that. So I got a hierarchy now of who I'd like to narrate my life. Morgan Freeman, Rod Allen, Ben Ingram, And I think that's my list as of right now. Those are my top three. Good spot right there, Jack McMullen and Ben Ingram. It'll be Grant Holmes going opposite Yuri Perez. We will break here. We will dive deep into this matchup. You got Holmes coming off 15 punchies. I don't care what opponent it was. It was the Rockies, who, by the way, are playing better ball. And Yuri Perez will make his third start post Tommy John and first one at home. We're back in 2 minutes on the Marlins Radio Network.
I would say that was 98.
Augustine Ramirez hammers a ball left field and gone. 3-run bomb. Augustine Ramirez, his 11th home run of the season. And the Marlins blow it open 4-0 in the bottom of the third.
Type of pitches go a long way.
First pitcher to Michael Harris is hit on the ground to the dive of the shortstop Lopez. He rolls a ground ball over to first, and that gets Harris. Great play by Otto.
Way up, he threw that from his right knee and was able to get it over to first with enough steam.
Now another great defensive shortstop, Nick Allen, lifts one out to left field. That is falling quickly. Stowers dives, and he makes the catch. 1-1. That one flicked down the left field line. That is in for a base hit, and that's rolling all the way to the wall. Stowers jogs in from second. Myers sprints in from first, and Eric Wagaman with a 2-run pinch hit double. Verdugo in left field is throwing both his hands up right now.
For him.
1-2. Otto on the move. That a hard ground ball that eats up Albies and dribbles into center field. A run comes in to score. Lopez goes first to third. Augustine ripped a ball on the ground, and he might have himself a 4 RBI day.
Kyle, how did you see your team keep their foot on the gas the entire night tonight?
Yeah, I thought, early on, scoring at first is always a huge thing in this game. And then obviously the 3-run homer from Gus there. And then, I feel like when you have a lead, and they, whether they score a couple, if you can answer back again, it kind of just, like you said, keeps your foot on the gas and, shows that we're still in that game offensively and not just, coasting.
NYSE SIPC.
Hey, this is Xavier Edwards here, and you're listening to Marlins on Deck with Steven Strom on the Marlins Radio Network.
Ball is Xavier Edwards playing right now. 2 for 3 last night with a walk. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen, and AJ Ramos. This is Marlins on Deck. Listen to your Marlins on the go. Download the iHeartRadio app and make Fox Sports 940 your top preset to listen to every Marlins game this season. Want to get you out of the count and roster move. But I do have an announcement, and I do need to send a congratulations to Pilar and Tahir. Pilar, my cousin-in-law, I guess, if we're technically speaking. They welcome in a beautiful baby boy, Noah. And let me tell you this, since Noah was born, the Marlins are undefeated. We can't wait to meet them. Okay, roster moves today. The Marlins selected the contract of Josh Simpson. Now, who's Josh Simpson? You heard of him. He was called up in 2023, but he didn't debut. He was a 32nd round pick by the Marlins all the way back in the 2019 draft. And this year in 27 appearances, 31 2/3 frames this year, he pitched to a 3.41 ERA. Now, the underlying numbers are a little less encouraging. He's got a 12.7 walk rate with a strikeout rate about 20%. Can it work up here? We shall see. It gives the Marlins, and Clayton McCullough's favorite word, optionality, with 2 southpaws now in the bullpen. Killicade Gibson and Josh Simpson. Robinson Pena was designated for assignment, who we saw yesterday. Okay, Grant Holmes, he will start. 29-year-old right-hander from Conway, South Carolina. Grew up a Braves fan. This is a pretty cool story in Season 2 with Atlanta. He'll make his 15th start today. He is 3-6 with a 3.97 ERA, 79 1/3 innings pitched, 92 Ks to 34 walks. He did take the loss on Sunday against the Rockies. However, he punched out 15 Rockies. It was the first time in 135 starts that Holmes recorded double-digit Ks. I'm talking low A, high A, triple A, 135 professional starts. Holmes had never recorded double-digit Ks. He decides to punch out 15 against the Rockies. He did surrender 2 runs over 6 1/3. He threw 93 pitches. He started before against the Marlins, 2 of them. 5.19 ERA over 8 2/3, 2 starts. He throws a 4-seamer. It's not very good, a high average, but that slider curveball combination has been lethal. We heard it from Ben Ingram. He'll also throw in a cutter. Now with Grant Holmes, he is susceptible to the long ball. 10 of his 14 home runs surrendered against that fastball, and he's given up at least one home run in 10 of 14 starts. He will go opposite Yuri Perez, who will make his first start here at home in 2025. 22-year-old right-hander, sporting a new hairdo, by the way. It looks phenomenal. He settles into his start number 3. His first one's against Pittsburgh, 3 innings, 4 runs, 5 Ks, 2 walks. All right. Second start in Washington, a lot more encouraging. 4 innings, 1 run, 0 Ks, and 3 walks. The big thing for Yuri tonight, can he command his pitches? The Marlins did an incredible job, impeccable, perfect, I might say, about not walking the Braves. They didn't walk any of them. Donut. Tonight, can Yuri Perez command his pitches and not allow free passes to, we already know, this dangerous and potent Atlanta Braves lineup? Ironically, Yuri Perez's worst career start came against Atlanta in July of 2023. Folks, he recorded an out. 6 runs on 7 hits, 35 pitches. We pray that that's not going to be the case this afternoon. Grant Holmes, Yuri Perez, that's your matchup on the mound. We'll discuss more with Jack and AJ next on the Marlins Radio Network.
I would say that was 98.
Augustine Ramirez hammers a ball, left field, and gone. 3-run bomb. Augustine Ramirez, his 11th home run of the season. And the Marlins blow it open 4-0 in the bottom of the 3rd.
Type of pitches go a long way.
This pitcher to Michael Harris is hit on the ground to the dive of the shortstop Lopez. He rolls a ground ball over to first, and that gets Harris. Great play by Otto.
Way up, he threw that from his right knee and was able to get it over to first with enough steam.
Now another great defensive shortstop, Nick Allen, lifts one out to left field. That is falling quickly. Stowers dives, and he makes the catch. 1-1. That one flicked down the left field line. That is in for a base hit, and that's rolling all the way to the wall. Stowers jogs in from second. Myers sprints in from first, and Eric Wagaman with a 2-run pinch hit double. Verdugo in left field is throwing both his hands up right now.
For him.
1-2. Otto on the move. That a hard ground ball that eats up Albies and dribbles into center field. A run comes in to score. Lopez goes first to third. Augustine ripped a ball on the ground, and he might have himself a 4 RBI day.
Kyle, how did you see your team keep their foot on the gas the entire night tonight?
Yeah, I thought, early on, scoring first is always a huge thing in this game. And then obviously the 3-run homer from Gus there. And then, I feel like when you have a lead, and they, whether they...
Ahorros comparados a Verizon 5G Internet más una línea Limited Welcome y AT&T Internet 300 más una línea Limited Started SL. Requiere Xfinity Internet. Velocidades reales varían. Velocidades se reducen después del uso de 30 gigabits por línea. Los límites de datos y los ahorros reales varían.
98.
Augustine Ramirez hammers a ball, left field, and gone. 3-run bomb. Augustine Ramirez, his 11th home run of the season. And the Marlins blow it open 4-0 in the bottom of the 3rd.
That was Jack McMullen last night. 11 home runs for Augustine Ramirez. It leads all rookies. He is back in the lineup, and boy, he has been so fun to watch. Steven Traum, Jack McMullen, AJ Ramos. All right, AJ, let's lead off with you. When you watch Augustine Ramirez, who comes to mind and how impressive of what he's doing because he's playing the catcher position?
Well, especially for a catcher, as a pitcher, you want someone who is very calm and poised because you're directing a lot of traffic out there. You're calling pitches in very big situations all the time. So Augustine Ramirez reminds me of a JT Realmuto. Oof. Like it's very similar as far as demeanor wise, except he has more power than JT had. So that's saying something, and he just seems like the guy that the moment never gets too big. He's always calm, cool, collected. I keep saying it, I'm very surprised with him being a rookie, how well he's controlling the zone. There are times where, he loses it, but he gets it back very quickly. And even his outs have been hard outs as well. So he's very impressive.
All right, another storyline today, Jack and AJ. Yuri Perez will make his 3rd start of the season. Clayton McCullough said this afternoon, we're taking a long view with Yuri. We're excited about the present, but we're going to make sure he's good for the future. He mentioned that he liked that he was able to wiggle out of trouble in his last start against Washington. Jack, what are some of the other boxes that you're looking to see Yuri check this afternoon?
So I remember the main box that he needed to check on his way through the minor leagues was overcoming adversity, right? Running into trouble. What does getting out of trouble look like? And you just mentioned that's kind of what he did in Washington. I'm looking for him to bounce back against this Braves lineup. And you say bounce back. What do you mean? He faced the Pirates and the Nats. He faced these Braves 2 years ago, and it was the worst start of his career at any level.
You think that's in his head? You think he knows that?
Yeah, I think
100%.
so. 100%. And I think there's a world where he's saying, this team makes me lose a little confidence. Let's get that confidence back. So I think this is actually a huge start for Yuri Perez. I think this first inning is huge for Yuri Perez as well. Just setting the tone. I bet we see 100 to Ronald Acuna Jr.
Ooh, okay. We'll keep an eye on it. The other guy on the mound, Grant Holmes, 15 punch-outs. AJ Ramos, when you were prepping, how did he do it, and what's the plan of attack against someone in Grant Holmes today?
So he was doing it by tunneling his fastball with his slider. And a couple of comments from the Rockies guys were talking about how it was indistinguishable until the very end. And that's what he has to do. Along with when you set that up, you're able to open out the glove side breaking balls to get a lot more swing and miss. So the Marlins today have to be patient and have to have their approach and not deviate from it, because when you start deviating and trying to maybe put balls in plays that maybe got to hit the other way and you're trying to pull it, that tends to get you in a bad space, and now you're in between pitches. So being patient, because he does have a higher walk rate, so to kind of get him out of the zone. And for me, I think if this team can make him, get in that zone so they can put good swings on the ball, I feel like they're going to have success.
I've got a quick follow-up for AJ, and for our StreamYard audience, I'm going to turn around and look at you.
Yeah.
Holmes, you mentioned he created kind of a guessing game with Rocky's bats because the fastball and the slider were tunneling so well. That means the slider had to be special, right?
Yeah.
How often will you have a slider be that special where you can't distinguish between fastball and breaking?
Well, his slider is I think what he was talking about is that he found a certain fluid and rhythm that he was going to in that Rocky start. And I think it's all about the arm action and release point. And his slider is a late breaking slider. And I think whenever he's able to pair that up with his fastball, it actually makes his fastball better. Because if you look at the metrics of his fastball, it's not a very good fastball. So he has to use even that cutter that he throws to mask that fastball to be able to place that in there. So he has to hide that fastball, but still able to use it. So for me, I think if the Marlins get a good serving of fastballs, they got to take advantage of that, because once he gets to the breaking stuff, he's going to be harder to hit.
And the fastball has not been great this year, guys. 10 of the 14 home runs that he's given up is on that fastball. Okay, storylines today. We talked to Clayton McCulley yesterday. He thought the keys to the series, no walks and clean defense. Jack, let's start with you. AJ, take it from there. What were some of the encouraging signs that you really remembered from yesterday's victory over the Braves?
Momentum. I think the top of the third going into the bottom of the third.
Yep.
When it came to the back-to-back defensive gems leading to the Augustine homer, I think defense influencing offense. After Dane took a homer away and limited it to a double off the bat of Marcelo Ozuna, the Marlins tacked on another run right after that. I think an infectious brand of baseball was the big thing that the Marlins did yesterday.
And also stopping, the potential momentum shifts. And I think that's a huge thing that, Jansen Junk did a really good job of navigating that. They made a couple plays behind him as well. But also the bullpen coming in and shutting it down for the most part. I think they did a really good job of keeping these dangerous Brave hitters in check so that they were able to get the W last night.
Very good stuff, guys. Jack and AJ have your call in about 14 minutes. We'll play at 4:10. Grant Holmes will go opposite Yuri Perez. Marlins looking to win a series, and they have done a nice job and respectedly in their division this year. I'm looking for the number, and of course it's evading me now, but they are a game over when it comes to National League East opponents, which they've done a really nice job of this year. We'll break. We'll get Steve's guarantee expo question, then we'll play some baseball right here on the Marlins Radio Network.
The 2-1 pitch. Turner swinging away, lifts one out to shallow right field. Stowers working in, Edwards pushing back. X on his way back. He makes the catch. Xavier Edwards with an over-the-shoulder catch. He reached out beyond his left shoulder, might have overran it a little bit, and he somehow plucked it with his back facing home plate.
I really just put my head down and ran. We were in foot in at the time. I thought I just had to go and get it. I didn't think Wag was going to get there, and I wasn't sure where Stout was at. So just put my head down, ran, and luckily got to the spot.
1-1 pitch. Sanchez launches out to center field and deep. Rojas just looking up. Jesus Sanchez, a pinch hit bomb. There's your insurance. 6-3 Marlins in the bottom of the 7th.
To start this month.
His first start coming
Goodness,
off because he came in a pinch hit situation and started the next day.
1-1. That a line shot up the middle and through for a base hit. One insurance run comes in to score, and that'll be all. Everybody up 90 feet. Agustin Ramirez stings a ball up the gut. 7-3 Marlins on an 111-mile-an-hour single up the middle from Agustin. Gets us ready for the payoff pitch. 3-2. That one a line shot into left center field. That will get in, and that will hop its way to the wall. Sanoja around second. He's headed to third base. Relay throw coming into third is late. It hit off Sanoja, and Javi has a go-ahead RBI triple.
But
So runners at second and third now with the Marlins down by 1, and Banks seeing Kyle Stowers here. Philly infield drawn in. That a bouncing ball over to third. Bohm has got it. He can't come home. He throws to first. It's his only play. He gets Stowers, but a couple of soft ground balls over to third end up plating a run.
Stream now. Number 1 on your car radio preset hand, the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WINCA in Miami, WMIB FM HD2 Fort Lauderdale. Free never sounded so good.
Here on a Saturday afternoon, let's do some housekeeping here on Marlins on Deck. First of all, listen to your Marlins on the go. Download the iHeartRadio app and make Fox Sports 940 your top preset to listen to every Marlins game this season. Hi, I'm Steven Strom. I'm with AJ Ramos and Jack McMullen. Those two have your call at 4:10. It's game 2 of this 3-game set. Marlins looking to win the series here against Atlanta. They have played their division very competitively. They are 11-11 this year against the National League East. Let's get to our at Marlins Radio X poll question. Well, if you look around Lone Depot Park today, you see a lot of green and you see a lot of great food. It's Flanagan's Fest 2025. And our expo question today is, when was the first Flanagan's, what was seafood bar and grill at the time, first opened? Make sure to vote at Marlins Radio. Big John, it's time for Steve's Guarantees, man.
Batter up. Batter up.
Let's play some ball.
First pitch is moments away. Time now for Steve's Guarantees.
Kyle Stowers hasn't homered in his last 30 games. Folks, that changes tonight. Here's why. First of all, Grant Holmes has given up a home run in 10 of his 14 starts. You could say it's a little bit of a homer problem. Stowers is batting 5th here tonight. He's absolutely crushed fastballs. He picked up his first multi-hit game yesterday since May 14th. You're starting to see him come around. I like Stowie to hit a home run here this afternoon. Folks, I hope he got the itch for first pitch, because when we come back, Jack McMullen paints a picture. AJ Ramos, he's ready to rock. Starting lineups in first pitch is right around the corner. Thanks for tuning in to the Marlins on Deck pregame show. I'm Steven Strom. Let's flip the M together, Miami. Marlins baseball. It's next on the Marlins Radio Network.
Now more than ever,